Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, Ionna, InfyPower, and Eaton. Ionna, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Ionna is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. Also, InfyPower, the largest EV charger module provider with over 3 million power modules running reliably worldwide. Their latest G2 collection features ultra-high power density and efficiency for EV charging and energy storage integration. InfyPower, innovation for your power. And Eaton. Eaton is a one-stop shop for implementing reliable and innovative EV charging infrastructure at your site. Across all applications, Eaton's EV charging infrastructure, hardware, and software gives you the scalability, flexibility, and intelligence you need to charge today and scale up tomorrow. Learn more at eaton.com/EVCI. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me and Scott in, what city are we in?
Redwood City, California.
Redwood City, California, because this is the first ever public version 4 Tesla Supercharger, which means it can output more power. That Cybertruck right there just charged at 500 kilowatts. We'll have a whole testing video coming on the updated Cybertruck charging curve. It's logging the data right now. And it also means that this is the first high voltage capable supercharging station, and it's a completely new architecture for charging. So we're gonna look at the dispensers, we're gonna look at the charging hardware, I'm gonna tell you what I know about the station, and this marks the first ever charge for the future of native high voltage Tesla charging. This day could not have come soon enough because they've been lagging behind, in my impression, in supporting high voltage vehicles such as their own Cybertruck, which is a high voltage car. I'll get into all the nerd stuff, but for now it's the first ever version 4 Supercharger visit. So super excited to be here, and well, some things are not off to a great start. Only half the stalls are open and one's already down. But well, you know, progress comes with a little bit of stumbles from time to time, I guess. Guys, I have two of the absolute must-have car accessories that I carry with me wherever I go, and I recommend you carry with you wherever you go. The first is my absolute favorite portable tire inflator. Genuinely, you'll see me using this in all of the videos for years now. I've used Fanttik mobile power tire inflators, and they're truly amazing. They're fast. They last a long time. I can do 16 tires with, you know, something that's this small, and it can run for over 40 minutes flat out without overheating. So there's great cooling as well. What also comes in handy is an emergency light and a mobile power bank function, so I can input power and output power to charge my phone in an emergency. This has truly come in handy. Like right now, where Timon has just asked me genuinely to go fill up the tires on one of our cars over here. Before we head over to inflate that tire, I've got to tell you about this unit right here, which is not just one function. This can actually do 4 things. It can vacuum, it can inflate, it can pump, and it can blow. And it's called the Fanttik V8 Apex. We love V8s and Apexes on this channel. Combine them together, you get this super cool mobile unit. Now, I primarily use this in a car application as a vacuum cleaner, and man, has it come in handy. Spilling stuff between the seats, this long hose attachment is my absolute favorite. And it can run for 40 minutes in eco mode. There's also a high power max boost mode where I can still get about 13 minutes of runtime, which is great. It comes with all of these accessories at no charge, so you can do a bunch of different things, and it's perfect for picking up pet hair, which super comes in handy, especially when the back of your car looks like this. In real time demonstrating is Timon Schroer with the X8 Apex, and what I love about this unit is the absolute accuracy on the fill. Not only can it fill twice as fast as other units, it is accurate to the singular PSI, which is wonderful so that we can get cars dialed in ahead of our range test or ahead of drifting around the track. So vacuum up your life and fill up your tires with Fanttik. All you need to do is head to our link in the description below for a link to access these items. Man, do I love having both of these truly, genuinely fantastic products that I use on a daily basis. Well, Scott, the Cybertruck's doing a charging test right now. Actually seems much improved from previous Cybertruck charging.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's not great, but it's okay, not the end of the world.
It's getting better, and that's what we want.
Here's what we did see. We saw 500 kilowatts go to the Cybertruck for like a minute, but like maybe actually less. I think it was more like 10 seconds.
Yeah. But it went up like 2%.
Yeah, but it did it. It did the thing. So forgive us for being here at night in Redwood City. It's like we got the police lights over here.
This is, okay, I want to say this. It's a little bit of a sketch spot.
Sketch spot, for sure.
I would not want to come here alone at night.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, but hey, we're here. This is the only time we have to shoot the video on this site. At night. Okay, so here's what's going on. We've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
This
Model
person
S.
100% just hits.
All right, let's look at the hardware because this is what's different. We're going to come over here and look at this green thing because this is where the power comes in from the grid. So this is a transformer and its primary voltage is not so important. I'd just be curious about what they're doing here, but I don't see it labeled. And I also don't see how many kVA this transformer is capable of. I'm guessing probably a 2000 or 2500 kVA transformer based on the size and the load profile here. So if you look at the switchgear is a typical Tesla switchgear. So this takes the, oh, look at this, 2500 amps. So there's some details here. This takes the 483 phase output on the transformer on the secondary side. It then comes over here to Tesla Supercharger EV1. This is the address, the name. It's 2500 amps of 480, 277. And it's, yeah, pretty normal. So then this is what feeds the actual superchargers, and these are what's new. This is the first time we're seeing the version 4 charger itself. Everyone has called these dispensers version 4 dispensers, and they just aren't. They're they are version 4 dispensers, but they're not version 4 chargers. This is the only location that they are actually V4 superchargers. Every other site that has these new posts at them are what's called V3 plus locations, and they essentially are the new dispenser like these hooked up to the older version 3 cabinets. And now this is cabinet 1, and it seems like cabinet 2 is also running, and I can't figure out why half the stalls here are not functioning if both cabinets seem to be running. Now
there's a bunch of stalls that are also covered up.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You would think, okay, only one cabinet is functioning at the moment, but these two are both spinning.
Running.
Yeah, at least the cooling systems are both spinning on them. So here's the difference. There's a lot of differences, and we're going to get into some nerd stuff, but I really want our viewer base to understand what's going on inside of this cabinet versus the older superchargers. So just a little bit of a history lesson. Superchargers launched version 1, version 2, essentially the same technology with Model S onboard chargers in a stack. And they were 150 kilowatts in the latest final version that would then split to like 72, 75 kilowatts per port. And the way that worked is they would assign a bank of those onboard chargers to a vehicle. And if you shared, it would have to then split the other bank of onboard chargers to another car. That's why they would do 75 kilowatt split. Or if one car was completely full, you might get a bit more power, but it would come in chunks because you essentially had one onboard charger would then stop feeding the car that's filling up and switch to the car that needed more juice. And they would go in, I don't know, 12 or 24 kilowatt chunks. I don't remember the exact language number. That was the old school. One cabinet feeding 2 dispensers. That's why it was 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. All Tesla owners learned, don't park next to each other. Always leave a space in between. And we can get into site design because some of them used to be 1 ABC, 2 ABC, and that was really confusing, but you'd always have to look at the bottom, and that was that. Version 3 supercharging came around 2019, 2020, 2021. I don't remember exactly, somewhere around there. And it unlocked 250 kilowatt charging at the time. And that is where one supercharger cabinet could feed 4 dispensers, 1A, B, C, and D. And it didn't matter where you plugged in 1A, B, C, D because you were taking one cabinet and it could feed across all 4. And interestingly, rather than going in chunks with each AC to DC rectifier feeding a specific vehicle, version 3 superchargers all worked on a DC bus system. So every single time you would plug into a supercharger, it would actually take the 483 phase power that comes out of the switchgear, convert it to high voltage DC, somewhere around 600 to 900 volts DC inside the supercharger. Then there would be a separate buck boost converter, mostly buck, down to the vehicle's pack voltage, which would then output in 1 kilowatt granularity level what your car needed. So that is why you never saw the big chunks in version 3 charging if someone else plugged in and it pulled you down a little bit. Everything was going DC to DC out to your car. The benefit of doing it this way is if you had a 12 stall location, which is pretty common, each Tesla version 3 cabinet could only produce 365 kilowatts of charging power. It could then take from another supercharging cabinet or another supercharging cabinet, and there was a DC bus bar that could shuffle power between them. So if you had a 12 stall location, but everyone plugged into one ABCD, you would actually get charging power from cabinet 1, cabinet 2, and cabinet 3, all feeding in to that first cabinet that was feeding one ABCD. It was a really cool design, and I think they could take 365 kilowatts of grid power plus 575 kilowatts of transfer power shared from other V3 superchargers. And honestly, the system was super slick. It made connections between all of them really nice. It made building expandable sites great, and it really made it possible to utilize the onboard conversion power at the charging site to an insane level. Just great charging hardware. Honestly, truly fantastic. Version 3 superchargers will go down in history as some of the most reliable tech-forward charging that was insanely well integrated with a star controller that handled all of the power shifting. Now, we ran into some issues. Version 3 had some improvements later on in life. For example, they went from the version 3 dispenser, which is the typical dispenser that we see that has the cable inside with the red Tesla up top. I think they look better than these. They've now gone to the version 4 dispenser, and this dispenser is taller. So some of the benefits of this is you have a longer cable, of course, so you can reach charge ports from multiple different manufacturers, because after version 3 was created, Tesla started supporting non-Tesla vehicles at charging stations. And this is actually interesting. Most version 4 dispensers that are out there have a magic dock built in. This one does not. This has just a normal Tesla handle. You notice that, Scott?
I did notice that, but this station is only for Teslas.
Exactly, but there are also so many other version 4 dispenser, like V3 Plus sites,
that have the magic dock.
That all have magic dock, but then are locked to not using the magic dock. It's kind of weird.
Maybe they're future-proofing, but then if I see unclear.
Unclear what's going on there. But version 3, had its normal base program. Then they installed these dispensers, and everyone thought V4 superchargers were here. But no, it was the same charging hardware that we've always had. I need to run over to the Cybertruck to make sure the screen is still running. But while we're doing that, we can chat. The ambient lighting's on, so I think we're good. With the expansion of the version 4 dispenser, the benefit is really you can have, again, a longer cable with a immersion cooled cable, so you have a little bit better thermal longevity. Yeah, we're still ripping 61%. Kind of slowed down.
Still.
So you have the benefit of a more, this is actually the third time. This stall's broken at this location. We'll get there, but this one doesn't work.
But it told us that on the car.
It told us in the car, yeah.
Oh, but we had it put in, so maybe some people don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. I guess, the lights off, nobody's home.
Lights off, no.
So yeah, you could get the immersion cooled cable, which means you wouldn't derate charging. Cable thermal temperatures weren't as big of a deal. But then they came with other issues, which is like sometimes you try to pull the cable and you see they get hung up on the bottom.
Oh.
Like I'm ripping, and then it's just not like the best design dispenser in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't think they look as good, and the handles feel really cheap.
Really? I don't think I held one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just meh, not great. Benefits, upsides and downsides to this, of course. A real upside was they could push more current. So version 3 superchargers have a limitation of not being high voltage supporting. So if you plugged in a Cybertruck, which is a 800 volt system architecture roughly, this would actually have to go into a split pack configuration, which means there's a series of switches and contactors inside the battery pack that go ka-chunk when you plug into a version 3 supercharger. It splits your high voltage series wired battery pack into 2 main parallel sections so that the version 3 supercharger can match the voltage of the Cybertruck. Other vehicles have to have a booster. Lucid Air, Porsche Taycan use a actual physical booster. Other vehicles can use the rear motors, inverter, and stator combination to step up the voltage. Lucid Gravity, Hyundai EGMP, Hyundai Kia Genesis vehicles do that. And so there was all these different ways to try to get the voltage from low voltage infrastructure like V3 superchargers up to the native pack voltage. Now with Cybertruck going split pack, it could still hit a maximum on V3 chargers with V4 dispensers, V3 Plus locations, of 325 kilowatts, because these can deliver over 900 amps of power. An insane amount of current going to the Cybertruck. Again, for a very short period of time. You have charge port thermal issues. The cables would get warm at 900 amps, and it was just crazy. Fast forward to today. This is the first and only publicly accessible version 4 charging location in the world. And we're here charging at it. I'm so excited. It's kind of a shitty location.
You're totally nerding out though.
Yeah, love this. Now the Cybertruck is charging in a high voltage configuration, because those version 4 boxes over here, we're going to take a look at all the data labels, can actually now output up to, I believe, 1,000 volts. So let's show everyone this. If you open the door of this Cybertruck, you'll be able to see that we are plugged into a Tesla supercharger, and currently we are charging at 780 volts. Never before has a supercharger been able to get up there. Ignore the fact that we're under 100 kilowatts at 65%. Cybertruck kind of charges like ass, but it did do 500 kilowatts for 10 seconds. So this is a more charging infrastructure topic.
Then
I'm annoyed with Tesla for not improving their charging performance. And I talked to Lars Moravi, who's head of vehicle engineering, today about it. And he's like, yeah, okay. Anyway, that was basically what Lars said,
yes.
I think.
That was actually exactly what he said.
Yeah, he was like, it's all about the area under the curve. I'm like, so that 500 kilowatt Cybertruck peak for two seconds. He's like, yeah, okay. So these can now output some pretty big voltage. So let's take a look at this site and how it's laid out.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, version 3 superchargers before was 1 cabinet, 4 posts.
Yep.
Version 4, 1 cabinet, 8 posts.
Show me the
But they no
post.
longer support sharing power. So they've gone backwards a little bit and forwards, and it's weird. They also go back to the version 2 supercharger days where they have individual power converters here, rectifiers, and so they do split in ka-chunks. So there's some good, some bad. If you look at this site right now, we are charging on, I think, 1G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So they go up to H now.
Yes.
And then you'll have 2 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So that's a lot of letters. Holy smokes, that's almost pushing the level of capability of my brain.
No, that was hard for you.
That was. It really was, truly. So this is a 1.2 megawatt DC fast charger.
Holy moly.
That's what this is. And it can be configured in 2 main configurations, best I understand it. The first main configuration is a semi-truck charger. So we all know Tesla's building a semi, which is so freaking cool, and I can't wait to play around with it. This can charge a Tesla semi at 1.2 megawatts. Or it can be configured to charge up to 500 kilowatts in 1 post. We've confirmed it, we just did it. So that's a great feature. That's really great. And it can spread its 1.2 megawatts across 8 posts. Should I do some math real quick?
Do the math.
So we need to do, whoops, not flashlight, calculator. 1.2 megawatt divided by 8 is 150 kilowatt per port if everything's maxed out.
Okay.
So that is the worst case scenario, is a bunch of Cybertrucks roll up, a bunch of new Model S's or whatever, everything that can charge fast. You plug them all in at the same time, dead. You're getting 150 kilowatt per port. The likelihood of that ever happening across 8 stalls, almost impossible. We should try it one day.
Yeah.
We got to host a meetup at one of these.
We need to do that.
Yep. Good luck to whatever cabinet is going to feel the pain. At this particular site, I think there's 16 stalls. And so one of these feeds a bank and one of these feeds a bank. And I think this one's down, which is weird because if you look at the numbering on all of these, the ones that are available, oh no, it's only some of them are available. Like 2E is available here, but we're on 1. So why are half not functioning?
Well, I don't think we're going to get that answer.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that answer. Maybe they just wanted to block it so people could get full power if they wanted to.
Well, and I don't think your light theory is correct because...
Yeah, because this one's off, but it's charging off. Model 3.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay,
weird.
There's some other interesting things going on here. I'm pretty sure this is a kiosk, a payment kiosk.
Where?
This right here, because this is a testing location. So right now, the version 4 hardware is locked only to Tesla vehicles for final validation and testing.
Yep.
Soon, by the end of the year, Tesla says this will be open to all of their partner cars.
Okay.
So that means you can come here and charge a Lucid Gravity at 400 kilowatts. New Cayenne EV, 400 kilowatts.
Rivian?
Rivian, 220 kilowatts.
Yeah.
What else is like a major charging car? Toyota BZ4X, 7 kilowatts. You'll be able to do that here, and this will, I assume, be their test location as time goes on. But what's cool with Tesla is they have the cars and the hardware, and they're able to make sure everything works with their stuff and then open it up. Because to be honest, there's some bugs here. One of the stations down, a curb comes out of nowhere if you drive a Model S. I mean, you got to work on these things.
Poor guy.
And yeah, poor guy. And when version 3 supercharging started to support other vehicles, there was interoperability bugs, there was problems, and so here we are. Probably going to go through the same thing with this hardware, but Tesla can fix and rapidly iterate on their hardware so quickly. I just want to look at this hardware from a visual standpoint.
It's
looks tired already, doesn't it?
And how long? This hasn't been here that long. It's been like, what, 4 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. It's 4 to 6 weeks, I think.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like, even here, it's not really put together.
I think they should do a themed wrap on all of these.
Oh, would love that. Would love. Let's go a step further, add a little philanthropy, and it's like whatever proceeds they can donate.
So like
to that
this
charity.
Charge on Charger 2, save the penguins. Charge on Charger 1, fund a rally course.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
That'd be a tough decision. What's cool about these chargers, based off of Max, who runs the supercharging team, some of his posts are saying, okay, there's a lot of cooling pumps, radiators, hardware in here that are shared with the cars and with Powerwall.
Oh, interesting.
So a ton of vertical integration and part sharing across the entire Tesla ecosystem to make this happen. That brings costs down, it brings reliability up, and it's a really cool, I would say, total integration of a product, which is awesome. This is what everyone's been waiting for, or at least 2 people in the viewers. This is what I've been waiting for. Wow, this is the final certification. This is all the labels that I've been wanting to know. Why is TÜV approving hardware in the US? Do they do that? That's the German,
Is that the German thing that they do annually?
Yeah, why is TÜV certifying US chargers? I've never seen that before. Maybe it's a thing. Date of manufacture, September 2025. So this is a 1246 kVA charger, or 997, I guess, depending on input voltage. So if you're on a low voltage input, like in Europe, this might be a megawatt. If you're here at 480, it's 1246 kVA. It's 1 through 8 output, however you want to do it. You can see its serial number is GF something something something. September 2025. It's rated for negative 40C to plus 50C. Now we all know that's the operating temperature range. However, Tesla can operate out of that range, typically in a derated state. So let's look at the input first. So we have 360 to 528 volts. Here we're at 480 volt 3-phase. Max continuous input is either 1200 amps or 1500 amps. This one's only a 1200 amp. So maybe that's an interesting configuration. This is a 960 kilowatt configuration. I'm just guessing it because there's a little X mark right there. So perhaps there's 2 different versions where you can get a 1200 kilowatt or a megawatt or 960 kilowatt version of this, which is really interesting. If we look here on the, it's IP65 rated, IP64 and IP2X. DC output voltage range, 0 to 1000 volts, and max continuous current is 615 amps. Now, we all know Tesla can sometimes go over this. So if you have a low voltage, high current car like a Volvo EX90, no, they want 600 amps. And Cybertruck, Oh yeah, so I guess low voltage, high current above this would be like Model 3, Model S.
Okay.
They would take at low state of charge maybe 700 amps. They could do that for a burst. And then you can see here max number of outputs, again, 1 through 8. Wow, very interesting.
What I want to know is, why is there an octopus and why does it say 5 minutes?
Yeah, it all has different certifications and each one's like shock hazard, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there are definitely viewers in the comments who know what all those mean.
Yes.
It's past my area of expertise. This was built in Buffalo, New York at Gigafactory, New York. So that is really cool that we got to see that right there. I'm wondering if there's anything else we can take a look at around here. Cabinet 2, shock hazards. It's 2500 amp, 2 V4 chargers, 16 posts. That's just about the total site. So that's some sort of warning on the area. And you can see they're just running cooling systems on them. But I guess cars are charging on 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Wow, so it's a whole new generation of chargers for Tesla. You know, V3 had some really cool sharing capabilities from cabinet to cabinet with DC to DC buck boost converters so that you had 1 kilowatt level of granularity in terms of power sharing across the site. Here, there's a stack of chargers in there. I think they might be 50 kilowatt chunks, if I had to guess, maybe 100. But essentially they, you know, if you load up a site, you might see a big dip in charging performance if you lose a power module going to your vehicle and it gets prioritized to someone else. I'm not sure how that's going to handle DVDT issues with other cars. Supercharger V3 would sometimes suffer with, like, Hyundai Kia products were super sensitive to DVDT when another car would plug in and it would do some power module switching on its side. Let me just make sure the truck's still going. Yep, we're good here. We're up to 78% now.
Okay. Meh.
Yeah, meh.
Well.
And that's our first ever visit to a version 4 Supercharger. Now, if there's any more information, which I'm sure there is, this was a very basic video. I'd love to get someone from the Supercharger team over to open up one of the cabinets, see how they work, to know if there's any differences with the version 4 dispenser. The only thing I can see is the new just handle rather than going into the magic dock. Mm-hmm. And we are natively charging this Cybertruck at high voltage. So what does this mean for the future? Well, it means more easily deployable locations because 1 cabinet can now feed 8 stalls. Tesla will probably make some sort of prefabricated supercharger unit for V4. There's no more DC bus bar, so I guess that removes some complication because you have so much more charging conversion power per cabinet. Again, going down to a minimum of 150 kilowatt per port if it's being completely maxed out across 8 stalls, although very unlikely that would happen. It might start to happen as these do open up to every vehicle in the network, and then you have a bunch of Hummers and Silverados and Escalades and Gravities and Cayennes and these all showing up. You might start to see more site level power limitation, and I'm a little bit bummed that these don't allow any sort of secondary input like V3 superchargers had. I thought that was such an elegant solution to adding site conversion power. You could actually just drop another cabinet in and not even add any more posts.
Right.
And that would just up the total site conversion power and less power sharing per port. This does not support anything like that. So that feels a little bit backwards. It feels a little bit backwards that we're now going back to the power module locked to vehicle approach where you're going to have potentially step changes if you start to max out that cabinet. But in general, it's a really cool solution, and it's just about time Tesla supported high voltage natively for their own Cybertruck, but most importantly, all of the automakers that have partnered with Tesla to open up the network to, they deserve full power, full high voltage support, and this is really the start of it. It's years late in my opinion, but better late than never, as some say. And I'm so happy to have charged here for the first time. So thanks for joining me on the adventure, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
Did you enjoy the tour?
I did enjoy the tour. I learned a little bit, and that is important for me.
Well, and maybe someone at home learned something. And if I was wrong on anything, again, just correct me in the comments or add any further information that's down there. Again, I would love to do this with someone from Tesla in the future.
Yeah.
Would be really cool. Stay tuned to the Out of Spec testing channel where you can see the updated curve on the Cybertruck at its maximum performance charger. And thank you very much for watching. See you on another, what am I trying to say? See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.